From the rolling mountains to the flatlands, we sing, no one can take our rights. Our Second Amendment will defend our land. With every bullet we stand. We were born in the USA, land of the free. With guns in our hands, we'll forever be. Southern blood runs deep through our veins. We'll stand tall for America till the end of our days.
Well, hey there. I'm Sully, and as always, welcome to the Gun Club. Tonight, we're going to be having a little quickie impromptu stream about some of the changes coming down the pike to our friends, our colleagues, our tormentors at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Now, if you've been following the news, I know there's a bunch of people who have been putting this out in the last couple of days, and there have been a bunch of changes in the last couple of weeks. And as we know, we covered in a stream a few days ago the Orange Man's executive order. I believe that stream was Donnie J versus the ATF, or Donnie J and the ATF, where he came out February 7th with an executive order. And that executive order directed Attorney General Pam Bondi, who, again, we were a little questionable about her history with firearms and her time in Florida. Would she be pro 2A? Would she be pro freedom? Would she be pro our rights? Enough? Well, he sort of set a tone. And in this tone, he said, look, I want you to go over, first of all the stuff that Crazy Joe and the Ho done did in the last 4 years, all the governmental overreach. And there was a lot of it. If you think back, one of our biggest complaints was, guess what? We had all these people, or all these ATF experts, redeciding what a law really meant, or what a regulation really meant, or putting in new regulations that hadn't been there for 10, 15, 12 years. Yet these regulations carried the force of law, and they could put you in jail for a felony for 10 years. But wait a minute. Something I did last year that was totally legal, 100%. ATF approved the day I did it. If I still have that piece of equipment, now I'm a federal felon for 10 years. Didn't seem right. There was a lot of craziness. There were companies put out of business. People such as Rare Breed, who made the FRTs, the Force Reset Triggers. Polymer 80, they took a hit. These were law-abiding businesses doing things within the confines of the law that suddenly woke up one morning and had knock-knock ATF at their front door. Now, while their business did get destroyed, they still came out a little bit better than, well, a guy like Brian Malinowski. If you don't recognize the name, he was the director of operations at the Little Rock, Arkansas airport. A white-collar job, a decent guy making over $250,000 at his regular day job, who happened to buy and sell and trade a bunch of guns. By the letter of the law in the state of Arkansas, he did absolutely nothing, zero zilch illegal. He did not break any laws that we know of. They went there with a warrant, not an arrest warrant, not a charge against him, a search warrant for records. Now, when you're going to go and look at someone's records or someone's paperwork, they showed up heavily armed at O'Dark 100, cut the power to the house, put electrical tape over his cameras, and kicked down his door. From the inside, Brian Malinowski thought it was a home invasion. It looked like a home invasion to him. So he resisted and caught a bullet between the eyes in front of his wife and family. Disgusting. This was our government killing a citizen. This was not some multiply convicted arms dealer. This was not the, merchant of death or anything else. Like, no, we traded back to Russia for a WNBA player. No, this was an airport executive who got gunned down in his home by the ATF, by our own government. I mean, if, You can say what you want about Waco and Ruby Ridge and some of the historical failures on the part of the ATF, and there were plenty. But this was ridiculous. If it could happen to a guy like Brian Malinowski, any one of us, law abiding 2A supporters, well, I guess you either have to hope it's not a home invasion, or if it is a home invasion, you get shot by the bad guy. If it's not a home invasion, you get shot by the guy. That rock in a hard place. The phrase damned if you do, damned if you don't. This was our ATF that did this. They were out of control. Now, ATF Director Stephen Diedelbach resigned after the election, but prior to Trump coming into office. And personally, I was not sad to see him go. Why? Well, he was the one who presided over the Brian Malinowski shooting and tried to defend it. Something that was as indefensible as what happened to him, or again, Mark Chapa up in Maryland. Stuff again at midnight, ATF raid, heavily armed for what? For what? Mark Chapa doesn't have a criminal charge, criminal record against him. No. They were there to look at serial numbers. If I show up at someone's doorstep at Dark 100 heavily armed, how is this going to work out? We talk all the time about wanting law enforcement to, they should de-escalate these situations. Yet the federal government escalates these into lethal force encounters with deadly consequences. And in front of Brian Malinowski's widow in Congress, Stephen Diedelbach, the director of the ATF at the time, tried to defend it. I wasn't sad to see him go. Not to mention the great clip of him trying to break down and disassemble a Glock, which he couldn't do. This man was a bureaucrat. He was a pencil-pushing idiot who couldn't field strip a Glock, which is one of the easiest things in the world to do. There's only one switch, so pretty easy. So, okay, he's gone, and they've got a guy named Mark Richardson, who is the interim director while we're figuring all this out. So, Trump comes out with his executive order, February 7th, tells AG Pam Bondi, I want you to go through everything that Biden did in the last 4 years and all the overreach. I want you to come up with a plan within 30 days, so that'll be March 9th. Now, that's a Sunday, so Donnie will probably give it till the 10th or 11th. Okay, cool. But he wants her to come up with what we're going to do to fix this. Because what has been done to the American people is wrong. Bravo, Mr. President, bravo. He had a couple of bad takes in his first term. We all know the pistol brace thing. We've discussed that. We talked about that in the Donnie J and the 2A video. But he really came out and set a tone for this. And okay, that was good. Well, on February 20th, it was announced that Susan Hicks, the Pamela Hicks, like I give a damn what the bitch's name is. Earlier today, I was served official notice from the Attorney General of the United States that I was being removed from my position as Chief Counsel of the ATF and my employment with the Department of Justice terminated. I have had the privilege of serving in federal civil service for 28 years, including 23 as attorney for the DOJ. Serving as ATF Chief Counsel has been the highest honor of my career, and working with the people of ATF throughout the department has been a pleasure. I thank my colleagues for their friendship and partnership over the years. Okay, great. Pamela, you were the chief counsel. You were the legal voice that approved all of these rewrites of policies and rewrites of regulations to allow the ATF to go rogue and overstep. Guess what? You were one of the big voices in that room. Sorry, Pam. All I'll say is best of luck in your new endeavors. Go find yourself a job with, I don't know, Moms Demand Action or, one of the gun grabby groups or something else where you can parlay your past glories into future betterment. But Pam, as most favorite mouse would say, yes, that's right, honey, you're fired. She's gone. She's terminated, excommunicated, and otherwise excised as the cancer she was. Yes. And as Scott Awesome would say, yeah, I just can't survive without the government tit. Oh, I'm sure she'll survive on something. Then again, with USAID getting so many defundings going on, yeah, it may not be as easy as she thought it was. And, I hate to say this, and I really don't want to go with the nasty, rotten ad hominem attacks, but why not? I'm kind of in the mood today, so let's just see. What do you think will happen to her? I'm just going to say that I have a feeling her next career will not be OnlyFans. Probably wouldn't work out too well for her. What do you think? Yeah. For 28 years, part of the bureaucratic machine, she's out. And this is the beginning of cleaning up the corruption, the overreach, and the basically infringement, for lack of a better term, of our rights. So, yeah, maybe she can do something. OnlyFeds? I don't know. We'll see what happens with her because I guarantee you that rotten penny will turn up somewhere else. But, Mel, um, all I can say is, look, I didn't roll her over and check her like a puppy, so don't ask me. Nor would I really want to. I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, I'm sure she'll find something she can do. Yeah, I think Scott's got it right there. Yep. OnlyFeds. Yes, that's right. You never know. Maybe Pam will end up selling feet pictures on the interwebs. I'd be good with that. Not that I'd buy any, but I would see that would be a fitting end to her trashing career. So, yeah. So she's gone. And that came out February 20th. And it was like, wow, they're actually doing this seriously. First of all, we were wondering to see. I mean, granted, President Trump has been in office a month tomorrow. He's been on a lot. We knew there'd be something in the 2A space. February 7th, it came out with that executive order. Okay, he's on the right track. He's giving Bondi some direction, which I'm glad he did because, again, there was a question as to how much direction she'd need. So he's pretty much come out. I liked it. Very positive. Giving her some direction in the right direction. Okay, good. I talked about having a 2A summit, getting some real 2A people in there to talk to them about what the problems are with the agency, with the ATF, etc. Well, within the same day that came out, we had something else come out, and this got really interesting. And this was a letter. Now, this letter came out from the United States Senate. Now, when you get a letter out from the United States Senate, you kind of know that it might be a bit of a big deal. This isn't like some gun grabbing group or some pro 2A group. This is on official U.S. Senate letterhead. And it's directed to Marvin G. Richardson, Deputy Director or the Acting Director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. I still agree with Matt Gaetz. That should be a convenience store in Florida. But this comes out, Dear Deputy Richardson, thank you for your service in leading the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives during the presidential transition. On Friday, February 7th, President Donald J. Trump took decisive action to reaffirm law-abiding Americans' Second Amendment rights in issuing the executive order protecting Second Amendment rights. Yeah, he pretty much laid that one out and told them how long it was. Under former President Joe Biden, the ATF adopted numerous policies and rules that infringed upon American Second Amendment protections. President Trump's executive order directs Attorney General Pam Bondi to review and develop a plan of action regarding President Biden's unlawful firearms regulations. We ask that you work with the Attorney General to quickly identify and rescind these policies. Basically, all that stupid stuff they did over the last 4 years, get there. Go for it. Dig in. Now, we ask you identify, rescind these policies. In particular, we call your attention to the following anti-Second Amendment rules and regulations and policies. The engaged in the business rule. That was basically anyone who sells any gun was engaged in the business of firearms or in dealing firearms. So let's say that I had a pistol that I wanted to part with or a rifle I wanted to part with, and Mel wanted to add another rifle to her collection. If I sold her that rifle and made even a nickel profit on it, no matter how much work I had done on it, I could be considered engaged in the business of dealing firearms, which would mean I would need to be an FFL. Well, I'm not running a firearms business. I do a lot of things, and I have a couple of businesses, teaching businesses, training businesses. But no, guess what? Hmm. We have the engage in the business rule. That was a big one. And it violates the text of the Gun Control Act. So their rule violates the text of a federal law. When you see act on the end, that's a federal law. The pistol brace rule, which improperly reclassifies pistols as equipped with stabilizing braces as short-barreled rifles, subjecting them to stringent regulations. We're troubled by the fact that the ATF promulgated this rule after it determined that a brace did not cause it to be an SBR. That was one that I've debated on this channel forever. Well, guess what? They passed a rule. Their rules are not acts or laws. It was overstepping and overreach. Congress writes laws. Well, the ghost gun rule, which cracks down on law abiding hobbyists who want to exercise their Second Amendment rights to privately build a firearm. A long standing tradition, and it's really interesting how that comes back, that traces back to the colonial era. The colonial era, they built their own firearms. You know, people can buy parts and build a dune buggy. People can buy parts and build a plane. People can buy parts and build a radio system, a Heathkit radio. You can buy parts and build a computer. But heaven forbid you buy parts and build a firearm. Well, we know what happens to people who do that. Exactly, Mel. That's what happened to Dexter Taylor. Unfortunately, that was in, New York State. And so the Fed's not going to be able to do everything for him. But I'm hoping we work on it. I'm hoping maybe the Orange Man at some point gets a little bit of leverage for Kathy Hawk one up and clips her wings. I think that might well happen. Now, this next one is a real big one. The zero tolerance policy, under which the ATF revoked the licenses of FFLs over minor bookkeeping violations. Now, I'm going to say it. If an FFL is dealing guns to known felons out the back door, sorry, lose your license. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. You've got a problem. But if you fill out the form that has city, state, zip, county, and you put in USA in county, thinking it says country because it's very small type, sorry, that was an illegal sale. You can lose your license for it. But wait a minute, we've got all the other information. We've got all of their name and social and date of birth and ID information. That's honestly what would be a de minimis error. Guess what? That was enough to get an FFL shut down. Instead of working with FFLs to address minor unintentional violations, no, they actually revoked licenses or put them under so much duress that they willingly gave up their license. Well, we're not going to take your license away, but you need to hire an attorney and come to this administrative procedural court, and it may take several hours, and you'll have to pay for your attorney, and well, your taxes are paying for ours, so we really don't care. And we may restrict your license. We'll see what happens. People shut down businesses. People shut down their livelihood. Why? Because they couldn't afford to do it anymore. They attacked the gun dealers. Most of these people are working on not the greatest margins. They're small, a lot of them mom and pop shops. Oh, well, Uncle Louie processed the sale. Everything's totally legal, but he transposed 2 numbers on the zip code. Now all of a sudden you're losing your license. So yeah, the zero tolerance policy, and that was a Joe Biden push. Imagine zero tolerance for mistakes, from applesauce for brains. Really? If we had zero tolerance for mistakes, yeah. In addition to promptly rescinding these rules and policies, we urge you to destroy the hundreds of millions of ATF Form 4473s and other license records from over 20 years old. The records have no particular law enforcement value, but they contain information about millions of law-abiding gun owners. That's right. How much record should the government have on you and what you bought 20 plus years ago? Well, the ATF has been keeping these records. which is, again, overstep as opposed to their own rules. But that's okay. There was no one policing the police, there was no one watching the watchers. And as you can see here, this letter from the Senate is very well noted with their case law, all the definitions, everything else, and they went through. Likewise, return to the policy of allowing FFLs to destroy the 4473s in their possession that are over 20 years old. Instead of turning them over to Big Daddy government, 20 years in, shred it. The Biden administration initiated in violation of federal prohibition end the policy of retaining these old records and save money for the taxpayers. Wow. And counteract the ATF's unconstitutional, rule change. Furthermore, we urge you to continue collaboration to improve the process for National Firearms Act applicants. The NFA, if you want to go up and get a NFA permit for a suppressor, if you want to get an NFA permit for a short-barreled rifle, short-barreled shotgun, we should be able to do this within a day or two. It should not take a year to get a permit to purchase a suppressor. Quite frankly, suppressors need to come off the NFA along with SBRs. That's my next level of wish list. That would require a rewrite of the National Firearms Act or the Gun Control Act. But prior to that point, let's at least expedite the processing of these things. The foregoing shouldn't be considered a full accounting of every action of policy. Oh, wait, hold on. Furthermore, continued collaboration for the NFA. While NFA wait times have improved, the ATF must continue to address ongoing delays in application processing times until the archaic process is at least as efficient as the NICS or National Instant Criminal Background Check System. There's no reason that the right to purchase a firearm should be so greatly delayed. A right delayed is a right denied. Boom. Thank you. Foregoing should not be considered a full accounting of every action for which the ATF may be held responsible, but is high priorities. It's a starting point for you. So, Trump puts out his executive order. This is from Senate, and I gotta say, I'll say it good when he's good, Cornyn and Tillis, the top two there. Both of them actually sort of rhinoed out back of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act and supported it. Yeah, well, they're not supporting it anymore. They're come back to our side. They've realized maybe the error of their ways. I can deal with that. So, John Thune has signed it. John Barrasso. Shelley Moore Capito. James Langford. Cindy Hyde Smith. Jim Justice of West Virginia. James Risch. Cynthia Loomis. Steve Daines. Senator Ted Cruz from Texas. Kevin Kramer. Mike Crapo, John Hoven, Roger Marshall, MD, Rick Scott, Florida, Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, he's one of mine, Ted Budd, Tim Sheehy, Pete Ricketts, Bill Haggerty, Joni Ernst, Bill Cassidy, Todd Young, Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, Mark Wayne Mullen, Deb Fisher, Jim Banks, Jerry Moran, all signed in on this, all signatories to this letter. Now, for those of y'all in South Carolina, I don't know where Tim Scott is. I haven't seen it. For those of y'all in other states, I'm going to put this up, post it out on the, I'm on you with email. Definitely, I'll agree with that. I'm going to be posting this letter over to locals. Now, what I'm going to say, be polite, be respectful. Dear Senator, I was perusing this the other day, and I noticed that your signature was absent. Now, I don't know where Tim Scott stands, but I'm going to throw this out because he's the name I know locally. Maybe Tim Scott they did it on the 20th, and he had already traveled home to South Carolina. Maybe he was in a meeting, and they never got it over for him to sign. We've got 30 senators. 30 out of 100 senators have signed it. 30 senators sent this over to the deputy director and said, here's your starting point. Go. This is big. This not only shows that, The ATF is getting some marching orders. And think about it, the ATF is an executive branch agency. We've got Trump's executive order to Bondi saying, do this. We've got Bondi firing the lawyer who went along with all this stupid stuff. I don't know how that meeting went, but if she went to this lawyer and said, I'm being asked to go through all of this, do you see any problems with this? And the lawyer may have said, no, it was all great. Sorry, Pam, we can't have you around anymore. But we've got 30 senators on board with it. Folks, if you're in a state that your senators didn't both make this list, I'd ask them politely, respectfully. I noticed that you hadn't signed this, was wondering where you stand. I think that's a fair question. I know I'm going to be writing a letter to Tim Scott. I support Tim Scott. I think the world of him. I think he's a brilliant man. He may have been in another meeting. He may have been in a budgetary meeting. He may have been out with the flu. I mean, think about it. February 20th up in D.C. was kind of snowy, nasty, wet, and wintry. He may have been busy with something. We don't know. I'm not going to go, code red on this guy until I find out. But I think they owe us an explanation. Yeah, Senator Scott, I was reviewing this and I happened to notice that you hadn't signed it. What was up? Was there a reason? And he may say, oh, I'm on board with it, but I just wasn't there. I was in a meeting. I had 14 other things to do. You have to remember, you've got 100 in the Senate. You've got 400 and something, 435 in the House. They're going 18 directions sometimes. They may not have been able to get it in front of him in time to sign it and get it submitted.
Between your locations.
Sorry about that. One of my little devices over here decided it wanted to join the conversation. But yeah, so maybe Tim did, maybe he didn't. What do we have here? Why has it taken Trump making drastic measures for common sense to finally reign in D.C.? Where was all this logic for the last 4 years? Mel, this logic hasn't been there for the last 40 years. I mean, honestly, Trump, when he came in, tried, but there was so much craziness with what? Russian collusion. I mean, Hillary still says that, she ran the perfect campaign and that someone did something. Let's face it, Stacey Abrams still thinks she's the governor of Georgia. It's finally, when you get in the first time, I think he had a lot of great goals, but he didn't know how to get it done. He didn't know how the machine worked. He wanted to make the machine work better, but he didn't know why it wasn't working the way it was. He's had 4 years. He got first 4 was a 4-year lesson in how the machine works. The second was 4 years to sit down and come up with little plans and diagrams and game plans with Junior and a few of his other brain trust and say, okay, we get back in. Let's go at it this way. And now he's doing it fast and furious, quite literally, love the term. And he's doing it in such a way that it is, well, shock and awe. The media, the left, doesn't know what to be shocked and upset at or worried about next. I mean, come on. Also, since we're talking about the left and we're getting a little bit political, folks, we're going to have a moment of silence for a member of the media who will no longer be with us very long. Let's all pour one out for Joy Reid. Yes, that's right. MSNBC has canceled Joy Reid's show, The Reid Out. So I guess it's now The Reid's Out. That obnoxious, annoying, bleached blonde, culturally appropriating, racist bitch is gone. Bye, Joy. Maybe she can go start something with Don Lemon on Twitter. I don't know. But yeah, not sorry to see her go, folks. Not sorry at all. She was one of the most divisive people in our country. And yeah, MSNBC has canceled her show. You see, I know it's not a firearms topic, but it was just one of the ones that was flying through my feed today. And I just have enjoyed it all day. It's one of those, hee haw, the witch is dead kind of thing. Let me see here if I can get that for you. Because that one, again, like I said, not necessarily firearms content. And for those people who just want to hear gun stuff, yeah, sorry. Let us have a little bit of fun here because, yeah, this one is, let's see, as published out by the New York Slimes. We got here. Yep. MSNBC canceled Joy Reid show in major shakeup. Miss Reid's 7 p.m. program will be replaced by a panel show hosted by a bunch of other people here. And what's the correct response to this? Well, ha. Yeah, I can deal with that really well, thank you. But yeah, Joy's gone. Gotta love it. I don't know exactly when it's gonna happen. I think Rob Smith had a great take. Let me see if I can find that one for you. Um, yeah, these are people who, yes, Rob Smith is conservative, but he also is an honest American. He's an honest American who actually gives a darn about what's going on in our country and the future of our country. So let's see, Rob, what you got for me?
I just got word that Joy Reid is out at MSNBC, so I'm saying goodbye to one of the biggest hacks, the biggest racists, and the biggest losers to ever disgrace a cable news set. Sayonara, Joy. I just got word that.
Yeah. Let's see, we got Mel's in here in the chat dancing. Yeah, Sonny, I think, well, speaking of Sonny Hostin, I love the line, and I heard this, and I'll admit it, I got this one from Greg Gutfeld. Sonny Hostin and Joy Behar were discussing that if the government's trying to become more efficient, we should shut down SpaceX because we have NASA and it's a duplication. Now, talk about an oversimplification for people who don't understand a damn thing. First of all, SpaceX, Elon's project, is actually going to rescue the NASA astronauts from the space station that Joe Biden left there. They were supposed to go there for like a week or 10 days. They've now been there 310 days in space, stuck. Yeah, so Elon's working to get them home. So it's not that much of a duplication because Elon's more successful. But, okay. They're saying, well, why do we need SpaceX if we have NASA? Well, my next question, and Greg Gutfeld brought this up, why do we need The View? We have Animal Planet. I mean, why do we need View when we have the children's game, Hungry Hungry Hippos? Why do we need The View when we have America's Dumbest Criminals? Don't think we do need The View, but that's beside the point. Yeah, I would not be surprised to see that whole show go bye-bye. They just can't seem to do it. From Paul Escapaza, MSNBC just canceled Joy Reid's show due to poor ratings. On her lame show, The Readout, she constantly attacked Americans and white people while defending illegals and other criminals. Reid is a talentless hack who is now getting what she deserves. Fired. Yeah. Of course, we've got to see what Alex has to say. The Frog Prophet. MSNBC has canceled Joy Reid's show. On her last show, black conservatives were called chickens for Colonel Sanders. As one of the greatest unintentional comics in history, Joy will be dearly missed. We will also miss the golden creature that lived on top of her head. Word is that it will be put into a museum. Yeah, it's interesting. The question now I have, Mr. Scott Awesome, was Joy Reid's wig made from this Doge dog? Just kind of wondering. This seems like a question here. Yeah. Well, no one's really sure where she got that thing on her head. I don't know. It's kind of a interesting question to have. But yeah, Alex definitely has a interesting take on it. Give it hell, Alex.
Well, it's Saturday morning, and I got up and got some bad news. Joy Reid, one of the stars at MSNBC, has been canceled. I loved her with her Trump derangement syndrome, golden Trump wig, and people kept criticizing her, so she got rid of it. Listen, she's some of the best unintentional comedy ever. How do you cancel something, though, that has almost no viewers? I mean, clips of her, people making fun of her, had hundreds of millions a week. I know we did routinely, but the actual show, about 100,000 viewers. That's absolutely nothing. So I heard them announcing the new host, even who they were, had to look them up. It's like Obama staffers and people. So this is rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, but I'm sure she'll pop up somewhere. She'll be hard to find, like Don Lemon and all of his arrogance. But man, I got to tell you, nobody is buying this BS anymore. But the golden wig, I mean, I'm actually really sad to see her go. Like Brian Stelter. I heard they brought him back at CNN, but nobody knows it because nobody watches it. I've got to remember to go find his stuff because it's always some of the best unintentional comedy. One time I was talking to him on the phone. Tucker Carlson and I called him up as a joke. And I said, I was a big fan of yours, not on your show. Nobody watches it, but on mine. So in a way, they do have big viewers. It's just more like a court jester type deal. Big show today, 4 p.m. Central. Trump, Musk, Tom Homan, they're all on fire. Massive developments. Kash Patel going after the deep state. Epstein files set to drop very, very soon. I'll be covering it all today, 4 p.m. Central at Real Alex Jones on X and Infowars.com/show.
Oh, all right. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. Was it roadkill? The roadkill is definitely a possibility. I don't know what it was. For someone who's so upset about cultural appropriation, why she's appropriating white people hair, I don't know. Wonder why her show had low ratings. Honestly, the only thing that her show did was gave us laugh tracks. It really did. It gave me some great clips to drop to. And yes, Mel, that is right. We are winning. We are definitely winning. And I see Sarge in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Long time no see, sir. Hope you are doing wonderful. Hope the Munchkins are doing wonderful. And unfortunately, Brandon is not the director. Well, yet. That would have been wonderful. I would have loved to announce that. However, I think we have a fairly good line going right now. We have Kash Patel will be the acting director. Yes, that's right. Kash Patel will be the acting director of the ATF. Imagine that, folks. It's going to be kind of nice. Officially, he's supposed to be named tomorrow, but it snuck out through back channels through Seb Gorka. It came out yesterday. And so from that standpoint, we're very, very, very happy on the whole thing. All righty. So I see you've been hanging hitches. Well, wonderful. Good for you. Hope things are going well for you. Hope things are, like I said, hope they're going wonderful for you and the Munchkins. Miss hearing from you from time to time, but definitely always welcome here to drop in. But yeah, Kash Patel not only has been confirmed as the new FBI director, they have now said that he is going to be the new acting director of the ATF. Now, where does Kash Patel stand on all this gun stuff? Is he good or is he bad for the gun world, do you think? Well, let's see what we can come up with to find out where Kash Patel stands on firearms, because I feel it's a worthwhile quest to get his read and where he's going to be. Here is, ladies and gentlemen, Kash Patel at the Gun Owners of America meeting, the goals meeting. So kind of says a little bit about who he is. And I don't know if this is coming through right. My Rumble studio is lagging horrifically. Come on, Bessie. You can do it. Let's see. It's trying. Yeah. Chris, man, I love the studio. I'm trying to use it as much as I can. However, some of these tech glitches get me a little bit. But are y'all seeing my headshot? There we are. We finally got that in. Good job. Here is Cash.
One of the things that shocked me the most at the Department of Justice was how many times I was told, we act here on tradition and principle. I said, what about the law? I thought we acted here on the law. That mandate that the Department of Justice created, that fiction that they created, has permeated through the DEA, the ATF, and so many other organizations to strip away your rights little by little by little by little. And none of it is the law. One of the things that shocked me the most at the Department of
He seems to be the kind of person who would be, I think, a good addition to our ATF. We're going to try to actually come back to the law. Don't feel bad, Scott. So am I. It's okay. We're all a little bit retarded here. But that's all right, because we can even say the word retard here and not feel bad about it. But yeah, Kash Patel actually went up and did a speech at the Gun Owners of America conference. I think he's going to be kind of the one we'd like. I can deal with this. So GOA is on board with it. And to me, again, we kind of wondered where Pam Bondi would be, how good she'd be for our 2A rights. When you're seeing stuff like this, when you're seeing, Cash coming in to deal with these issues, I'm on board. I am 100% on board. Because we're going to get a better, I don't want to say experience, but a better version out of these agencies. Would I love to see them abolished 100%? Yes. Flush them, no problem. I don't see that being the first week. What I want to do is I want to get the teeth out of them that are being misused. I want to get the abuse out of them, rein them in, and say, look, if you're going to do what you need to do, you're going to be limited. This will be your scope. If you step outside that, Cash is going to swat you on the nose like a puppy who peed on the rug. It's going to be real simple. And I feel that he's the one to do it. Let's face it, he wrote the book, Government Gangsters. He was the one who wrote the book on dealing with a lot of these things. So for Cash to come in and take over the ATF and help clean it up, yeah, I can buy that. I can definitely buy that. And again, is it going to be perfect? I don't think we're going to ever get perfect. I mean, totally abolishing it, okay, would be nice, but I think that's a wish list. But without that wish list, where can we at least have a little bit of fun? We'll get Cash in there. Let's see what he can do to fix some stuff, to rein them in, to stop the overreach, to teach them. Yeah. Okay. Minnie, I know you think it's bad swatting puppies who pee on the rug. The ATF shot puppies who didn't even pee on the rug. Let's face it. There are dogs, and the Humane Society should be rejoicing in this right now. Because the ATF, they've got a real bad history with people's house pets. We'll just say that. Federal Bob inspection. This is a timeline. I don't know. Has anybody been asked to send the FBI pics of Bob and Vagine? But yeah, I can definitely deal with Cash in there, so we'll have a little fun.
Yo, DNC! Let's cash it! Cash, baby. FBI, cash, baby. Alright, stop. I've been confirmed, so listen. Cash is here and Adam Schiff's my mission. Democrats are freaking out quite nicely, scared of the truth I bring it daily and nightly. Will they get away? Hell no. Lock them all up. I'll make it so. Pelosi, Schumer, Waters, Eric Swalwell, and the rest of you better get ready for the charges I'm bringing you. Schiff, you'll be in jail real soon. I'm gonna lock you up in a hotel bathroom. Diddy, I didn't forget about you. Soros, Epstein, and JFK too. Fauci, Gates, and the Clintons better pray. You're gonna need some bail money. Cash is on the way. If there is a problem, I promise I'll solve it. Check out the swamp while I start to dissolve it. Yeah. FBI cash, baby. Yeah. Hey, yo, bartender AOC. Ilhan married her brother.
Yeah. So there's our new FBI director. I don't think that's actually him. That may have a little AI work done in there. Maybe. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny. But we've got him not only as the FBI director, we've got Pam Bondi getting rid of the ATF general counsel and putting him in as the acting ATF director. Now, are they going to combine the two? I don't see it happening. Can they rein one of them in? The ATF, I looked, has about 5,400 employees. Well, I guess after this week, about 5,399 after they got rid of that general counsel bimbo. But yeah. So now we have Cash coming in. Again, he's a guy who went and talked about freedom and our rights and rule of law for gun owners of America. Yeah, and no, I saw in the chat there, are we tired of winning yet? No, not tired of winning yet. Very, very happy about everything that's going on. So definitely not tired of winning yet in any way, shape, or form, Scott. But we're enjoying every bit of this. So, folks, appreciate y'all's time tonight. This, again, was a quickie. I wanted to come out. I wanted to talk about Cash. You know, again, I think the formal is going to be tomorrow, the next day. It's pretty much come out through all the back channels that he's going to be taking over ATF. So that's a big jump for us. And then going beyond that, you know, that letter from those 30 senators, again, if your senators are among them, great. If your senators are not, send them a polite letter, a respectful email, if you will. Because maybe if they realize that the American people want the ATF reined in, we want, you know, play by the rules. You tell us we have to play by the rules, fine, you play by the rules too. I'll be good with that. You know. Mel, I'm not even going to make commentary on that one because I could say so many things and I'm not going to go there. All righty. Folks, I appreciate your time. You have a wonderful night. And let's see. I think I'm going to close us out with a little bit more of Cash, baby. And yeah, the studio is bogging wonderfully tonight. Come on, you can do it.
Yo, DNC. Let's cash it. Cash, baby. FBI cash, baby. All right, stop. I've been confirmed, so listen. Cash is here and Adam Schiff's my mission. Democrats are freaking out quite nicely, scared of the truth. I bring it daily and nightly. Will they get away? Hell no. Lock them all up. I'll make it so. Pelosi, Schumer, Waters, Eric Swalwell, and the rest of you, you better get ready for the charges I'm bringing you. Schiff, you'll be in jail real soon. I'm gonna lock you up in a hotel bathroom. Diddy, I didn't forget about you. Soros, Epstein, and JFK too. Fauci, Gates, and the Clintons better pray. You're gonna need some bail money. Cash is on the way. If there is a problem, I promise I'll solve it. Check out the swamp while I start to dissolve it. Yeah.